Hello everybody, so today I will talk about calculus. The topic today is about differential equations. So now I will show you how to answer. In this situation, we will have about complementary solution and particular solution. So I will put about yc equals to e to the power of lambda s. So if I do first derivative, you got about lambda e to the power of lambda s. Because if we do first derivative of this one, you got about this one. Later that we do first derivative of lambda s, you got about lambda. And now we do second derivative, you got about lambda square e to the power of lambda s. Because this is about complementary solution, so this one should be equals to number 0. Now I will put this one go in here, this one go in here, and this one go in here. So we have lambda square e to the power of lambda s plus 2 lambda e to the power of lambda s plus e 2e to the power of lambda s equals to number 0. Now we have e to the power of lambda s. We can do about factorization. Now I will put this one equals to number 0. So we have two solutions in here. That's about lambda equal to negative number 1 plus I. This is about complex number, and lambda equals to negative number 1 minus e. So we have yc equal to c1. This is about the constant number 1, e to the power of negative number 1 plus I, and we have s in here. And we have c number 2, e to the power of negative number 1 negative I, and we have s in here. Or we can write like this, c number 1 e. So we have negative number 1 with s, you got about negative s. So with e to the power of is and e to the power of negative is, we can change into psi s, because is represent into 1 is. That's why about this one you got about 1 s. So we can write about c1e to the power of negative s psi s plus c2 e to the power of negative s cos s. And now we go to particular solution. We see that on the right we have e to the power of negative s cos s. So we put yp equal to a e to the power of negative s cos s plus b e to the power of negative s psi s. Now if we do first derivative of this one, we will do first derivative of this one in here. That's about e to the power of negative s. So you got negative a e to the power of negative s cos s. We do first derivative of cos s, you got about negative psi s. Now we go to this one, we do first the derivative of e to the power of negative s. You got about negative b e to the power of negative s sine s. Then we do first the derivative of sine s. You got about cosine s. Now, if we do second derivative, we will do first the derivative of this one, and you got about 8e to the power of negative s, because negative with negative, you got about positive. Then we do first the derivative of cosine s, and this one we will have about negative sine s. Negative with negative, you got about positive. Now we do first the derivative of this one. Negative with negative, you got about positive. So we have a e to the power of negative s sine s. We do first the derivative of sine s. So you got about cosine s. Now let's go to this one. Negative, negative, you got about positive. Then we do first the derivative of sine s. You got about cosine s. Now we do first the derivative of this one. You got about negative. We do first the derivative of cosine s. You got about negative sine s. And now we need to simplify by second derivative. So we have this one minus this one. So this one we cancel. A e to the power of negative s sine s with this one in here. So you got about 2a e to the power of negative s sine s. Now this one with this one we cancel. Negative b, and we got about negative 2b e to the power of negative s cosine s. And now we go back to this one. So second derivative we change by this one. First derivative we change by this one, and original we change by this one. So we will have like this. Now we need to simplify. So we see that 2ae to the power of negative s sine s with number 2 and negative ae to the power of negative s sine s. This one and this one we cancel. Number 2 with we have negative 2b e to the power of negative s cosine s, and number 2 with this one in here, they cancel. And now, and this one we see that 2 with negative ae to the power of negative s cosine s This one with this one cancel with this one. So for this situation, now we can put about ye about the new one. So I will put about yb equals to as e to the power of negative s cosine s and b s e to the power of negative s sine s. Now we need to do first the derivative of this one. So we do first the derivative of s. You got about a e to the power of negative s cosine s. We do first the derivative of e to the power of negative s. You got about negative 8s e to the power of negative s cosine s. Later that we do first the derivative of cosine s. You got about negative as e to the power of negative s sine s. Now we do similar for this one. Now we do second derivative. So we do first the derivative of this one. You got about negative a e to the power of negative s cosine s. This one we have negative a e to the power of negative s sine s. Now we do for this one. This one. This one. Now we go to this one in here. We do first the derivative of this one. So we do first the derivative of this one. And then we do first the derivative of sine s. Now we go to this one in here. So we do first the derivative of sine s. Now we go to this one in here. And then we do this one in here. And then we do first the derivative of sine s. Now we go to this one in here. Now we go to this one in here. And then we go to this one in here. Now we simplify for second derivative. This one with this one we cancel. This one with this one you got about number 2. So this one with this one you got about negative number 2. This one with this one you got about negative number 2. Now we just have this one for like this. Now let's go for B. So this one with this one we cancel. This one with this one you got about negative 2be to the power of negative s sine s. So this one with this one you got about 2be to the power of negative s cosine s. This one with this one you got about negative number 2. And now this is about second derivative of particular solution. Now let's go back in here. So for second derivative we have this one. First derivative we have this one. And original that's about this one. Now because I want to simplify more easier, so I will put number 2 on here. So we have 2 in here. Now let's simplify. So this is about negative 2ae to the power of negative s cosine s. This is about positive 2ae to the power of negative s cosine s. So this one we cancel in here. So I will eliminate. Now let's go to the next one. Negative 2ase to the power of negative s cosine s with this one in here. Let's simplify. So we just eliminate. So we have this one with this one in here. So we eliminate again. Now this one negative number 2. This is about positive number 2. ase to the power of negative s sine s. They eliminate. Now this one and this one. This is positive number 2. This is negative number 2. So they eliminate. Now this is about positive. This is about negative. So they eliminate. After we eliminate everything, we just have this one left in here. So I will write like this. And we know that this one equals to this one. So we can see that we don't have e to the power of negative s sine s. So that means 8 equal to number 0. Now we just have this one in here, e to the power of negative s cosine s. And we have 2b, but this is about number 1. So 1 equal to 2b. So we divide both sides by number 2. And we got about b. And now yb, this is about particular, we just set up in here. So that should be about 1 over 2 s e to the power of negative s cosine s. Sorry, sine s, not cosine s. So after we find the value in here, we can get the final answer. that should be about y equal to yc plus yp. Yc we just calculate in here, and yp that's about this one in here. And this is the final answer. This is the end. Thank you for watching.